Hey everybody, and welcome to another special Deck Tech Talk. Today we are talking about you fools who are just empty vessels for souls. You who shall be returned to the void, to nothingness. It's Manikins, baby. Man, who thought we'd be talking about this again? Manikins haven't been seen since I think it was Opus XIII. But we got a whole host of new ones, including a reprint of our main man X-Death here, so let's just get right into it. I wasn't sure what to think of this. If you've seen my review with Alex Scott on Mysidia Gaming, I just wasn't sure what to think of them because I didn't know much about Manikins, but now that I've tried them, this deck is really, really fun. So, let's take a look, shall we? Alright, first off, we've got Big Bad X-Death here. When he enters the field, you can just play a job Manikin of cost 4 or less from your hand onto the field. Can be a forward, backup, monster Manikin if they ever make one of those, doesn't matter. And then all the Manikin forwards besides, all the Manikin forwards are going to get 1,000 power when X-Death is on the field, and X-Death himself is going to get 1,000 power for every job Manikin you control. Again, backups don't matter. Oh, but the backups do matter right here. So these next two cards I'm going to show you is pretty much why the deck is as good as it is. And that is, of course, 3 copies of the Delusionary Warlock and 3 copies of the Lady of Antiquity. I'll just put those right there because just want to make sure you can see them out of that glare. So what is so amazing about these cards? They both reduce the cost of X-Death by 1. So as long as one of these is on the field, X-Death is cheaper to play. This specific copy, it's got to be a lightning forward. When Delusionary Warlock enters the field, you can search for a job Manikin other than lightning and add it to your hand. So he can grab this backup, which is awesome, because once she's on the field, she color fixes all of your Manikins. All Manikins at this point can be paid with CP of any element. Oh, it's so good. And the hidden factor about these cards is this little symbol right here in the upper right-hand corner, multi-playable cards. That means, in my ideal world, 4 of my backup line is 2 Ladies of Antiquity, 2 Delusionary Warlocks. You can even go to 5 if you want, although we got a few little tech choices. But that's what's so nice is that you can freely run 3 of these cards because they don't lock each other out. You can slam down all 3 Lady of Antiquity, slam down every Delusionary Warlock. It's so nice. And X-Death can play either of these off his entry effect, but no, we're not done. To give it a little more consistency, we're going to check out our first new Manikin forward, and that is our Water one, Delusionary Knight, aka Manikin Cecil. So when he enters the field, same as the Warlock, you get to search for a job Manikin other than water, in his case, add it to your hand. I have many a time, turn 1, drop X-Death, drop the Delusionary Knight, and then go search out the Warlock or the Lady of Antiquity. Or maybe I've got the Warlock, use him to search out the Delusionary Knight, which can then search another Warlock, can search the Lady of Antiquity. However you want to combo it, and you're going to see the joy of this when you start playing with these cards, is that these 4 alone just have such a great little combo synergy of he can fetch him, then he can fetch him again, or he can fetch her, and then, it's so nice. I've seen some people just running like a Water Lightning party deck and running Delusionary Knight and Delusionary Warlock just because anything that can search out a backup is usually a very good card. Anything that helps you guarantee backups is just awesome. So this little package right here is worth gushing about all on its own, but hey, we've got some new Manikins too. 3 copies of our Counterfeit Wraith. She has our Famfrit or Veritas style effect on entry. As long as you control a total of 3 job Manikins, your opponent has to select a forward they control and put it into the break zone. This is not choosing, so if they have Broskas or Neo X-Death or something that has like a revenge trigger on being chosen, doesn't count. They're selecting it. It's completely different, and it occurs at resolution as well, which means no matter what shenanigans they do, they're always going to have to sack one of those forwards as long as you meet the conditions. Be a little careful with this one. You don't want to put it out too early because since it is, you have to control a total of 3. That effect can be fizzled if someone is able to get... But as long as you've got like 3 Manikin backups, then you're always safe. But just be careful if like she's coming out right off of X-Death. Still, great effect. Next we have 3 copies of the Counterfeit Youth. This is of course our Manikin Onion Knight. If you control 4 or more job Manikins, he counts himself. He'll gain 3,000 power, haste, and he cannot be blocked by forwards of cost 4 or more. Any forward that has the ability to not be blocked by something is always worth a look, and this guy's no exception. He'll get up to, if X-Death is on the field, he's a 9k haster that can't be blocked by 4 or more. He's fantastic. Usually one of my go-to guys, especially if they try to put big bodies in front of you. Speaking of big bodies, we have 3 copies of our new Imaginary Soldier, aka Manikin Cloud. For each job Manikin you control, Imaginary Soldier will gain 1,000 power. If X-Death is on the field, he gets 1,000 as well. And then when he enters the field, you choose a forward your opponent controls, and you deal 1,000 damage for every job Manikin you control. So if you've got 4 Manikins on your backup line, and he comes in just off of that, that's 5k to something, which is really nice. I won't lie, sometimes it is difficult to get him to completely finish something else, something off of just his ping. But the fact that from his secondary effect, he gets so big. I mean, I've had this guy be an 11k body before, which is awesome. He's going to get powered off of X-Death. It's just really good. So these are all the new Manikins. We're using one of the old Manikins, and that is the Fleeting Flash from Opus II. This is our Lightning Manikin. This Manikin will always have haste, and then if you control a job Manikin other than Fleeting Flash, she'll also gain 2,000 power. So unless something has gone terribly wrong, it is a 4-cost, 8,000 power body with haste. Not great by any means, but just having another source of haste is really nice. It can give your opponent that surprise. I've looked at a lot of the old Manikins. Some people still like Capricious Reaper. That one's okay, but I really prefer this one for another reason. So here's the thing with Manikins. I've tried a couple different builds. As you notice, we have all 6 colors here. We've got fire, ice, wind, earth, lightning, water. So originally I tried to do this super multicolor element deck to fit Manikins, but guess what happened? A lot of times I had one turn, I couldn't play my opening hand because I had 6 different colors in my opening hand, so I was like, oh, well, I can pitch none of these for anything else. So what I found to be more effective is that you really lean into an earth lightning build, really kind of based off of these 2. So you really want it to be an earth lightning deck, and then these 4 are just going to be your off-color Manikins. But again, they can be brought in once Lady of Antiquity's down, off any color, so it really fixes it nicely, and then focusing it on Earth Lightning just makes it so much more consistent from a color standpoint. So that's what I would highly recommend. Also got to mention Big Bad X-Death. Dude, this guy just gets huge. This guy's gotten a 15,000, 17,000 before. He's such a big body. Behemoth King comes at him thinking he's a big 12k, and X-Death just says, that's nice, stop, boom, and he just knocks out that little kitty. So, here are ways we fill the deck out. We've got 3 copies of Red Mage and 2 copies of our Beastmaster. These are just ways to search and dig deeper into the deck. Red Mage will find you a Wind or Earth card, so either the Counterfeit Youth or one of your many Earth cards, whereas Beastmaster is going to find you Water or Lightning, so again, one of your many Lightning or Water. So it's nice that they both kind of find one of the off-color Manikins, as well as one of the many cards you'll be running in here. And again, what do you notice about all the cards on this field right now, other than X-Death? Every single one of them has the multi-playable unit. And that's what just makes it feel so nice, is that, again, it's not like, oh, Counterfeit Wraith is already out there, I can't play another one. No, you get every single Counterfeit Wraith you want out there. This, the multi-playable symbol, I said multi-element earlier, excuse me, the multi-playable symbol is what makes it feel so smooth. So, this is the Manikin package. Here's how we're going to balance it out. We need some more cards, just give them a little help. Big Bad Gadaj, best Dark Forward in the game to this day. I mean, not counting Neo X-Death for his shenanigans, but as far as like a non-Neo X-Death, he's a burst. If you get him in there, giving X-Death Brave is huge because they always have to deal with this big body. Junking out their break zone if they have a lot of recursion. Doling a forward is great. 2 copies of Opus XII Gilgamesh. He's just a really, really solid card. Again, as long as they have a forward on the field, even if they remove this guy immediately, you can just put him in the break zone yourself, break one of their forwards. That's probably the only thing you'll use him for in this deck. I haven't even gotten the opportunity to use his action ability, and Enkidu's not in here, but his first effect alone is more than worth it. 2 copies of Kuja. I've slowly warmed up to this card. I used to not like it because I'm just not the type of player that likes to take damage, but I've come to see it for the value it has. He's just nice if they have a forward like an Ishtola or, a Sophie, or just something that's 3 cost or under that you really just need to get rid of. It's nice to just put a body down that has a straight break attached to it. And then 1 copy of Vivi. He's just an EX burst, which I like, and again, it's another way, especially if you've taken some damage, just entering a body that can boop, knock someone on the noggin, take them out. It's really nice. And finally, one copy of Alba. Really love this card. If for some reason you have a bad opening hand, but you've got Alba, don't be afraid to put Alba out there, especially if they've got a summon in the break zone. You can remove that, give Alba haste, and the threat of her just constantly dumping out their break zone is really, really nice. So here's our forward. To finish out the backup line, we've got 3 copies of Tyro. He's EX Burst. Best Earth backup in the game. What more could you need? Possibly with an argument from this lady. Shantoto helping out X-Death and the Manikins. Just nice on those rare games where maybe they overwhelm you, or if you're playing against a really aggressive deck, Barks, Boko, Shikaris, whatever, and you just got this massive forward all of a sudden. Shantoto's a great way to reset. Usually what I'll do, especially if I've had a good opening with the Manikins, like I said, I'll go to 4. I'll get either 3 of the Warlock and 1 of the Lady of Antiquity. Usually I like 2 and 2 just because that way I can tap for Earth for a couple of the non-Manikin people. And then for that final 5th backup slot, sometimes I'll just hold it open if I've got chance, just in case things go wrong. And that's helped me out a couple times. Alright, so here's all our backup and forwards. To balance it out for summons, again, most of this is with CP in mind, so these are all Earth and Lightning summons. 2 copies of Hecaton Kyre. Really good card, especially good with Imaginary Soldier, Kadaj, X-Death. These cards are so huge. You're more than happy to have Hecaton have X-Death fight something. Really nice. He can get up to 9 on his own as well as those 2 over there. So Hecaton's really nice. Fills out our Earth CP. 3 copies of Kusith. Really like the EX Burst. And the Recursion is nice too. Again, these are multi-playable, so if someone takes out your Counterfeit Youth, which they're going to want to because they don't want this guy who can't be blocked by certain people, you really want to get one of those back to just slam it down again, boom, send them right in. Really like the Kusith. 2 copies of Mist Dragon. Really great depending on the matchup, maybe kind of depending not, but you can always protect the forward, dull it, make sure it doesn't receive any damage this turn. Usually its most common effect is either canceling the summon outright or just dumping their break zone, drawing a card off of it. 1 copy of Odin, EX Burst. Really nice summon. Should you get to damage 5, he'll get to be 2 cheaper, which is very nice. Otherwise, he's just a nice burst to break things. And last but certainly not least, Terra Flare, Bahamut Zero. Again, in this deck, because of the way Manikins plays, I haven't needed to use Bahamut Zero much, which is nice, but just in case, he's there if you need him. So here's Manikins. It's really fun. It's pretty straightforward too, which I like. To me, the most complicated part of it is the color fixing, which is, like I said, I've tried a really multi-element version with really splashing into all the colors, putting things like Y'shtola in wind, or a Genesis in ice, or, a Braska's in fire. And while those are all fine cards in their own right, it really does mess with the color fixing and can lead to some very awkward hands. So this is my recommendation of it. Really focus on the Earth Lightning, and again, just have the splash of the off-color Manikins. If you can see X-Death or Delusionary Knight or anything that lets you get to these 2 quickly in your opening hand, you're golden. You're probably going to have a really good time, but it's a fun deck. It's really fun to see just how strong all these guys get, and yeah, it feels fast too, which is nice. You can be pretty aggressive with it and build up speed very consistently. So that's my version of Manikins. I hope you like it. Let me know what you think. I'll of course put the deck list in the comments or in the link below, and that is all. So return to the void.